Hey guys, what's up? Today it's all about the foyer. We are working on the entryway of the house, and for the design of this, we are going to do a little bit of a two-tone paint scheme and some DIY board and batten. So here we go. The first thing we need to do in order to get the foyer the way that we want it to be is we're gonna have to do a little bit of prep work on the walls so that we can paint it and get it ready for our little DIY board and batten. Because we've got old plaster walls, the walls have like some pock marks and things on them because they're not smooth like new drywall is. So what we're doing right now, what she's doing, I guess, more so than I'm doing, is we're hitting the lower part of the wall with a skim coat of joint compound. I've watered down some joint compound to make it a little bit like a little bit like watery peanut butter consistency. And yeah, it does sound a little gross, but hey, that's what it is. It's like watery peanut butter. It's gonna smooth out all those old pock marks and stuff. So when we go to do the board and batten look on the bottom, it's not gonna have that pocky texture on the walls and then look different on the board and batten.
Ah! I suck at this.
So we're finishing up hitting the lower portion of the wall with our skim coat, and then we can come back around with a little bit of sanding to make it nice and smooth. Once that's done, we can hit the whole wall with an undercoat. An undercoat is basically a primer that is designed to go over an existing painted surface, whereas a primer is made more for new surfaces. With the walls all primed up, we can focus on the board and batten. Our board and batten is going to be made from MDF. I bought 4x8 sheets, and I'm using my makeshift track saw to cut strips to a rough width. Once the rough cuts are done, I rip them to their final width on the table saw. For the top and bottom rails, I'm ripping the strips to a final width of 6 inches. For the vertical batten areas, I'm ripping the strips to 4 inches. To determine how to lay out the batten spacing, I'm using the following technique. First, I measure the overall length of the wall. For this example, it's 96 inches. Next, I figure out how many panels I'd like on that wall, which is 4 spaces. As you can see in this example, in order to create the 4 panels, I actually need 5 vertical battens, 1 on each end and 3 in the middle. So next, I multiply the number of battens needed by the width of those battens, which I ripped at 4 inches, giving me 20 inches. Then I subtract the total width of battens from the overall length of the wall, giving me 76 inches. Lastly, I divide that number by the number of spaces that I want, which is 4, giving me 19 inches. So starting from the edge, I install a batten every 19 inches all the way across, and that gives me equal size panels. Now the spacing will vary slightly from wall to wall, but you'll want to determine your spacing within a few inches of each other from wall to wall so that it won't be noticeable when you look at the room as a whole. Finally, I check each piece for level and attach the panels using a finish nailer. With the board and batten all laid out, we can prime it and get it ready for paint. We're gonna paint the upper part of the wall, a little bit of a gray, take our casings and our trim work here, we're gonna paint that all a nice bright white along with our board and batten. It's gonna make this space look really nice. So the board and batten is up and there is paint on the walls, which means that I can work on some of the finishing touches now, and that includes changing out all the electrical outlets and the switches so that they match. I'm gonna go with just plain white switches and receptacles, put on some new faceplates so that everything looks nice and clean. The old ones are kind of this yellowish, beigey color. Doesn't work for this space. Next, I'm taking off the front door. Originally, I was just gonna paint over the front door and give it an accent color for the room, but as I kind of looked at the paint, the original paint on the door started peeling off really easily. So it wasn't put on very well in the first place. I've decided that I'm gonna strip off the old paint and re-sand the door. I wanna do it the right way instead of having to paint it and then the paint's gonna peel off and then have to repaint it. It's gonna never end if I don't do it the right way. So what I need to do is strip off this existing paint, sand it down, clean it all up, then I can paint it with the accent color that we're going with, which is like a dark blue. We are in the home stretch now with just a few more finishing touches to go, and I cannot wait to show you guys the finished product. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed this DIY board and batten makeover. This whole renovation cost under $250. with about $85 going towards the MDF, and then the remaining budget going towards paint, primer, and some expendables. Now this room isn't completely finished. We're gonna be putting up some artwork on the wall behind me, and eventually we're gonna be replacing this old floor and adding some additional lighting, but it's a hell of a lot better now than it was before, and it didn't break the bank to get it here, which is what's most important. If you did enjoy this episode, please hit that like button and leave a comment down below and let me know. Also, I'll be writing a companion piece to this video, which will go into step-by-step detail on how to do your own DIY board and batten layout, and you can find that at my blog at mrfixitdiy.com. So if you're interested, be sure to check that out. As always, don't forget to subscribe and follow me on social media via the links in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. What's up, guys? My name's Aaron Massey, and today I'm going to show you how to build a very basic workbench for your shop.